Farmhouse friends, welcome back to Bloomwell Home and Garden. It's great to have you along. If you are new here, please consider subscribing and hang out with us here at the farmhouse more often. Friends, as we speak, the stores are being flooded with every variety of boxes, bins, and baskets that you can think of. The world is on an organizing frenzy, and rightly so. It's the first of the year. We want to get organized, and it's the right thing to do. But before you buy one bin, box, or basket, come along with me and let me share with you my top 10 secrets for organizing like a pro. Well, I think for most of us, we do really want to be organized. But for many of us, the thought of the task of organizing can be very overwhelming. And we go out, we buy all the bins and the boxes and the baskets, and then we jump in, and before you know it, we're overwhelmed. It's not working out, and we're left with all these bins and boxes and baskets, and we still have a mess on our hands, or maybe even a bigger mess. Well, today I'm going to share with you just how to take it step by step so that your organization is a success. The first thing to consider when you're getting organized is knowing your organizational style. Now, I've been on Pinterest and I've oohed and I've ahed and I've looked at magazines. I'm like, oh, that's gorgeous. But if that's not how you organize, that system isn't going to work for you. So it's time to take a look in the mirror and see just what kind of organizer you are. Now, you might laugh and say, well, I'm not organized. That's the whole problem. But if you look closely, maybe you are. You enough to find your style. Like, how do you like to do things? Let's talk about paper. When the bills come in, do you like just throw the bills in a pile and that's good enough for you? And then you want an in pile and an out pile. What about your clothes? Do you like them divided into drawers by color, or hung in color succession, or just that they're in the closet is enough for you? Some people really like the idea of having all their paperwork divided and subdivided within a filing cabinet, while others, just the bin is fine. So kind of figure out, are you that micro organizer, or are you more of just put the stuff in a corner and be done with it? And what is your style? Do you like baskets? Maybe you prefer bins with a lid. Do you prefer clear bins so that you can see your things? Or do you prefer your stuff to be hidden out of sight? Take some notes on the things that you see around you. That is really going to help you be the most successful. Number 2, know your space. What are you organizing? Are you organizing a closet, a dresser, a kitchen drawer, a kitchen cupboard, a pantry? And what do you want it to look like? What do you want that space used for? The next tip is to clear your space. Before you can get to work on changing a space, you have to have a clean canvas. Let me share this. If you were in an art class, one of my favorite classes is the sip and paint classes. So if you went to one of those classes and you were sitting there and the instructor came around and gave everybody a canvas, and the canvas already had a picture of a house and a barn and a garden, and then told you to paint a kids playing at the park, that would be pretty hard to do because the canvas already has all kinds of things on it. So where would you put what you're going to add to the photo if there's already other things in there cluttering up the photo? But if you have a blank canvas, you can do anything you want. With your imagination, the sky's the limit, and you can be creative as you want to be, and it's going to turn out great because you have a blank canvas to start with. Number 4, measure your space. You're going to want to measure the width and the height. And if you are dealing with shelves, you want to measure the space in between the shelves as well. Then you're going to know how well your baskets, bin, or boxes are going to fit on that shelf. These little trinkets are amazing, and you can store under them and on top of them to create even more space within your space. Also, be sure to measure your drawer, your bins, and your baskets. If your space is only 27 inches long and you pick up 3 bins that end up measuring 29 inches, you'll be really disappointed when you get home and your bins don't fit. Number 5, sketch it out. This is one of the things that really helps me the most because I am really a visual person and a visual organizer. So I grab a notebook, a ruler, and a pencil, and I get to work sketching out the space. I put the measurements in here. Now you also take this with you when you go shopping for bins and baskets. The next thing you have to decide is, what do you want in this space? Because Sometimes your space is very full and you know not everything that you took out can go back in. So what do you really want this space to be used for? I'm working on a pantry organization and I am in the middle of sketching that out right now, and I'm going to bring you guys along for that organization. So I need to know what I want in that space. I know what's in there right now and it's not working for me. So I need to decide what is going to work best in there. That leads me to our next tip. Organize with what you use the most in mind. I heard a very profound statement this past year, and I don't know where I heard it from. And if you know, go ahead and leave that in the comments below so we can make sure that they get lots of credit, because this was so profound for me. It's not that our spaces are too small. We all have adequate space for our belongings. The problem is that the stuff that we don't use and it's just stuck back in a corner, taking up our closet space, filling up dresser drawers, kitchen cabinets, and all of those things is using up the space that we need for the things that we do use. So I know with my pantry organization, I know it's not working, but I know what I need to put in there. So I make a list on the side of my sketch what I want to put in there. Now this keeps me able to visualize exactly what I want and how I want to put it in there. Exactly how much space I have. Before you can start putting things in there, everything that you took out has to be sorted. And I kind of do this as I'm taking it out. I kind of group things the same. If I know something's not going back in there, I make sure to put it far away from where I'm working. If I know it's going back in there, put it in a different space so I know it's going back in. But that is a step that's going to help keep you from being overwhelmed. When you look at all the stuff that you take out, make sure you make a pile for things that you know aren't working and are not going back in. That's clothes that don't fit, papers you don't need, expired food, food you don't eat, all of those kind of things that you don't use on a regular basis. Even if you use them, but not every day, set them aside. And finally, you're going to have to get rid of some things. This is the hardest, even for me. I hang on to things that I think are so important to me, and I can drift to borderline hoarder. I'm telling you, me parting with things is really hard, and I imagine it is for all of us. Think of it like this. What if one of your friends or your sibling asked you to help them come declutter? What if they told you they had a really hard time getting rid of things and they really needed you to be objective and help them? Think of it like that, and you are your best friend and you just have to be objective. Would you ask your friend to throw away a Hawaiian shirt that they've only worn once? If you would, then you need to get rid of your Hawaiian shirt as well. Take a picture of it or cut a little scrap of fabric and post it in your memory book. But if it's taking up a lot of space, go ahead and get rid of it. I'd just like to mention one more tip. We talked about bins and baskets, and I mentioned boxes. Now for me, I love repurposing things, and if you are on a budget and you really want to get organized but you don't have the cash to go out there, especially right after Christmas, and start spending a lot of money on bins and baskets, because those can be expensive. You can get big discounts at Hobby Lobby and Michael's. I know those stores always have a 40% off coupon, as well as Joann Fabrics. And I certainly wouldn't want to forget to mention all the great storage options at Dollar Tree. But if you still don't have that kind of money, I like to recycle boxes. I grab them off my grocery shelf. And if you ever shop at Aldi's, they have a lot of boxes like this one. They often have these sitting on the shelves. And sometimes when you pass through the store and they're empty, I just toss them on the bottom of my cart. And if it's something that somebody else doesn't have to break down, they usually don't really care that you take them. Now, I use these a lot in my basement, and you could totally use these anywhere. You can spray paint them, or you can Mod Podge on some really scrapbooking paper or anything like that to jazz them up a little bit. And these make great boxes for storage. Forget about shoe boxes. I love shoe boxes, especially with these fancy lids. I have a lot of these in the basement that I've covered in different kinds of paper, and I have one labeled hooks. I have one labeled thingamajiggies. I pick up things off the floor and I don't know what they go to. It's been my experience that if I throw this away, I'm going to need it. Somebody's going to walk in like, I'm looking for this little part. It came off, it was a spring and it was like this. And I'm like, yeah, I threw that away. So when I find little thingamajigs like this, I have them in a shoebox in the basement. And then if ever we need a piece, we're missing a piece, I'm like, I might have that piece in a box in the basement. Those are some really budget-friendly ways to help get organized. Be creative. Don't get overwhelmed. Friends, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for coming along. If you enjoy organizing, please give this video a thumbs up and comment down below what area of your home you are going to be organizing next. Also, if you have any tips and tricks to share, please put them in the comment section below. It is always great to learn more from everyone else. Everyone has such great ideas. Thank you so much for sharing them. If you have friends and family who are also getting ready to organize, please share this video with them. It'll ease the pain for them as well, so that it's not such a big overwhelming task to jump into. I am going to get started on my organization project, so I will see you all very soon. Until then, be blessed and be safe.